Hi guys, and this has been another amazing episode of Dragon Ball Super. Now the episode obviously carries on from where we left the last episode, but this is a very Master Roshi centric episode. The episode itself being entitled A Desperate Battle, Master Roshi's Sacrifice, episode 105. And in the episode itself, Master Roshi, as I say, is it's a centric episode around him. And in the episode, Master Roshi has a fight with a series of villains from Universe 4. But what he's understood that some of the other Z fighters haven't is that each person has their traits and all of the things that would be counterproductive to them being able to fight these villains. So he's thought of the strategies and the ways that they can fight all of these other villains from these, well, I would call them villains, but all of these other opponents from the different universes. So he ends up fighting one of them, and because of obviously he's had his training where he's tried to overcome the fact that he can be used to be seduced by these characters, that's what happens. She tries to seduce him during the battle, and he has to come up with a way to try and counter that from happening. And largely he doesn't really succeed at first, and they have an epic fight, which is really cool. It's really cool to kind of see Roshi in this kind of way, where he has to kind of utilize all of these themes and kind of really show why he's part of the team. So that's really cool to see. He ends up having a fight with the character and just really bests her anyway. Once he gets over the fact that she's trying to seduce him, it's a hurdle for him to have to get over in the episode, which is really cool. And he does that by utilizing his strength, and really his strength of mind in this episode. Roshi shows a lot of things that other characters on the Z team really haven't. Strategy. Gohan's probably the only other person I've seen during these fights where he's had to come up with strategy to win, and the idea that Roshi has to do this with quite a few of these opponents in the episode made it a very telling episode as well. So she leaves, and then straight away after, he gets involved in another fight with another member of the Universe 4 team. Only her ability seems to be that she can manipulate her energy to create dimensions. She tries to use that energy and that fighting style against him, and largely that seems to be working until he uses seal on her. He uses the evil containment wave and seals her in that, because he understands the gravity that some of these characters are going to be quite dangerous should they get involved with the likes of Goku and things like that. So he manages to get rid of two of them quite quickly. He throws her out of the stage in the demon seal, and that's pretty crazy. Then we get to the point where Roshi has to fight another one of these guys, and that's pretty crazy as well. So he has 3 fights with 3 different opponents from the same universe, and the fight itself is just epic. It's crazy. This one comes along and he starts fighting Roshi, and he has the ability to change it and transform, use his energy and transform into another kind of version. It's almost like a Super Saiyan transformation, if you will. He transforms into some kind of bird looking creature, and largely Roshi doesn't seem to have any trouble with him. He can read all of his movements, he can understand how he's going to fight, and largely he doesn't seem to be having any trouble until this opponent's skill comes in and shows what his actual talent is. The fact that as the fight goes on, he seems to evolve with the fight himself, increasing his speed, his stamina, and becomes quite a dangerous opponent. And Roshi actually gets into a lot of trouble fighting him. He gets kicked, punched, and hurt during the fight, to the point where he understands that if he lets this opponent stay, he's going to be the most one of Universe 4. He's going to be the biggest trouble and the biggest problem for them. So he feels that he needs to sacrifice himself and take this character down at whatever cost, whether it's to the detriment of himself, whether it's going to even end his life. That's what he's prepared to do. And it comes to a culmination where Goku and Krillin are looking on and they're quite worried, and he's made the decision. And this is where the episode takes a turn in a way that I think makes it one of the best episodes of Dragon Ball Super so far. So it's not the fact that he does what he does, and yeah, he does win the battle in the end, and he uses a Kamehameha and manages to defeat the opponent, But as I say, it's to the detriment of himself, where largely after the fight he's expelled all of his energy and then ends up dying, or on the surface it looks like he's died. Krillin wants to go and help him. Obviously he's not part of the tournament anymore, so he can't actually intervene, and he has to be stopped by the Kai. Goku is involved in another battle himself, kind of sees this and stops messing about, goes Super Saiyan Blue straight away and rushes to his aid. And when he gets there, he almost seems horrified at the fact that Roshi's not breathing or appears to be dead. And obviously he starts trying to bring him back, and this is where the emotional side of Dragon Ball Super, this is some amazing writing. This is probably the best stuff I've seen them do, because it starts to utilize themes that all of us can kind of understand and we feel. The idea of loss, the idea of pain, the idea of sadness, all of everyone who's listening to this episode, you understand that. And the idea of loss and the idea of time as well, that's kind of all of these themes that this episode's really delved in towards the end, that you all move in one direction, and that's kind of what you get from here. There's a lot of metaphors that are being used that they kind of don't have to say, but you just get, which is pretty sad. And you get all of this emotion. It's just so sad. You see Goku trying to revive him. He's proper trying. It's almost like he's trying to bring him back, and it's really sad. Nothing seems to be working, and you've got Krillin is crying. And for the first time in a long time, I don't think I've seen Goku look so sad, like tears. He's cut up about this, that his mentor, the person who he looks up to, is died in front of him. And then Roshi obviously breathes, and you see the look on Goku and Krillin's face that he's actually alive, and Goku gives him this big, warm, embracing hug, and it puts a lump in your own throat, because you understand, the trouble that he's gone through, Roshi in the episode, the sacrifices that he's willing to make, and also you understand it from a real standpoint, that it's sad to lose anybody you care about. And so the writers in this episode have just created an episode that is just so heartfelt, so sad, and it puts hairs on the back of your neck, and it puts a lump in your throat. It makes you feel very teary about what's happening with these characters, and it shows that Goku actually does, although he doesn't show it largely in a lot of the Dragon Ball mythos, if you will. This is the first episode where they've actually showed that there's a lot of care and a lot of attention and a lot of love for characters like Roshi, and that he does care really about that. I know obviously there's a lot of power-ups and a lot of things where people get hurt, but it's the first time where there's a more emotional element that's come out of the episode, and I think largely it was really good and makes this one of the best episodes I've seen of Dragon Ball Super. It's just standout, guys. It's really good. I can't say any more than that. It's just a really good episode, and I can't wait again to see what they do next week. But if they still keep all of these emotional themes going forward, and they make you feel the way they able to make you feel in this episode, I wouldn't mind seeing more of it. It was a really good episode, guys. Great episode, Dragon Ball Super. Let me know what you guys thought of the episode.